Now the first little step to this is you take this guy right here, one Abraham Lincoln, and you set it right in the top of the drum head. This is not the bottom part, this is the top part, the part that on the other side you would want to strike with your drumsticks. You just put that penny right in there. Now there's versions of this mod which include putting pieces of fabric behind the penny to help prevent rattling, help with shock. I've tried those too, none of them are really more effective. But once you've got that penny in there, you take your piezo electronic transducer, put them right on top of the penny, and you want to line it up. There's a cable here. I don't know how well you can see it on this video, but there's a little groove that you need to make sure that goes into or it's not going to fit properly. Once your transducer is back in, you take your tape and your foam, put it back over top, tape it down to the head, nice and tight, and then we take our little guy from before, this little dude right here, we put the depressor back into the hole, and then we screw it back on. Alright, what I'm doing now is I'm just screwing this back on. Now there is some debate about whether or not these should be tight or a little loosey-goosey, and different people seem to feel different ways. Some say that they should be tighter, just locked down like Fort Knox, and other people say you need to leave room for the penny to wiggle. One thing that's for sure though is if you do this, and you need to be careful with this, is if you leave room for the penny to wiggle, not only is it going to create a lot more shock and vibration when you hit it, and you're going to feel it and you're going to hear it, but the extra vibration also, what it can do is it can cause hairline cracks to run along your drum, and I know a lot of people have had those even without, modding their drums whatsoever. They've had it happen to their drums quite frequently. I had a set that did that even, and two of them in fact. They'll just crack down the sides. So I don't recommend leaving it loose, but some people feel different about that. But you want to make sure that this is on, it's to your preference. I like it really tight personally. Okay, so we got it on nice and tight. Now all you do is, see there's these little rubber feet, there's these holes in the pad. All you do is line them up. Once they're in, you just snap the guy down. It's a little goofy getting them in. We're done. Okay, now we've got that set, so we're ready to test this out. Here we are with the drums. Now this is it with the penny tight, like I said before, and if you notice, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. As you move around the pad, it drops them, picks them up, whatever. I can definitely feel more of a rattle, and I can hear it, and that's why some people have tried it with little pieces of fabric or sponge behind the penny. To my experience, doing that has caused it to be significantly less responsive. So I guess if you don't mind the vibration, this is a pretty good way to go. Seems like it's a little better, but it still drops some on occasion. But it is a little better. It's still not acceptable. I mean, it's impossible to gold star anything like this. I've had sets before that worked really well, and then unfortunately they either had a cracked head or a broken pad or whatever. That doesn't help. But trying to score on something like this is just worthless. So we're going to try this with some other versions of the penny mod. Alright, here we are again. Now this is with the drum pad with a slightly looser back to let the penny rattle a little bit. Now this time around it's a lot more responsive. Notice there's still a drop there though. But even for faster stuff, a lot more of them register. Not perfect, but it is significantly better. And this solution does fix the problem for most people. There's still some areas on the pad though, around the edges and the corners and such, that really lose the sensitivity. This solution does work really well though if you have a QM set, and you'll know you have one of those if your drums work great, but then you go to do a roll on a pad and you just get one note and then nothing and then maybe another note and so forth. If you're getting that penny mod all the way, you will be set. Now what you can't tell from this is if I turn the sound off and hit the yellow pad, sounds okay. When you hit the blue one though, I don't know if you can hear the difference on the video, rattles like hell, and that causes the hairline fractures that I mentioned before, and it's going to really blow your pad out fast. So a lot of people try to mod it with fabric or sponge on top of that. Now we've got the pad open again. Here's our transducer again. Now what we're going to do this time is I've got a small piece of felt-like fabric that I cut. It fits into the hole right here. Now this is something that a lot of people have tried, and for some people it works. Now keep in mind that just because I'm saying these things aren't working for this set or this specific transducer does not mean that they will not work for you. Everybody's got stuff a little different. So we're going to put the penny right on top of that. We're going to the transducer back in, make sure he's lined up with the slot, and cover him back up. And we're going to close him back up again. And as I do this, it definitely feels a lot tighter. Everything's really snug. Getting this on was kind of a tough fit. And just like before, I'm going to leave this with a little bit of playroom, because the idea is that hopefully the added fabric will cause a bit of a kind of a shock reducer to keep from the pad cracking. So we're going to see how that goes right now. Okay, we're back again, and what I've got now is the pad, like I said, modded so that it has the fabric in it. And although it seems to help a lot, get around the edges again, you miss out on stuff, and it still, to me, if I turn the sound off, it still sounds a little different. It still rattles a little bit. It's a lot better though, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to prevent the hairline fractures. I haven't tried it in a long duration setting, but it does feel a lot better than the Penny Mod loose without the fabric. I know some people who tried this. My friend Derek did this. It worked out really well for him. A lot more responsive, but the problem is you get near the edges again, it falls apart. So the conclusion is that the Penny Mod will work in a lot of the cases. However, it does not work for every transducer and does not work for every person. Keep in mind also that doing so pretty much violates your warranty with EA. Of course, if you put things back to normal after you're done, I don't know how they're going to tell the difference unless you strip the screws or do something stupid. But if you're having drum problems, it can help out. It's not going to do the trick for this drum set. I've already tried it previously with all 4 heads, tried it in gameplay, and it's just not doing the trick. I mean, even with that, it does not work as well as some of the drum sets I've had in the past. And so that's my litmus test, knowing that I've had these better, this might be acceptable for some people, but for me it's not. I know that there's drum sets that do better. It's impossible to 100% anything like this. Even though this does respond a lot better, you notice there was one that dropped, it's not going to do the trick. So for significant expert level play, it's not going to work. So the conclusion, like I said, is Penny Mod works pretty well. Give it a shot if you're desperate and you don't want to RMA for a new drum set. However, I will be doing another video when I get my next set later, when I get the aftermarket transducers and I put those in, and we're going to see how that works. And hopefully that will be the last of my videos, but if not, I will keep track of this as things continue to occur.